guys, this is Omkar Pari and welcome to Talented Sir. In this video we are going to learn the first chapter of our 10th chemical reaction and equation in science. So from this whole chapter chemical reaction and equation we are selecting one topic, that is physical change and chemical changes. In this video we are going to learn that what are physical changes, what are chemical changes, and how we can differentiate physical changes and chemical changes. So without wasting our time, let's start our lesson. So first we will be learning about physical changes. So what are physical changes? Physical changes is a phenomena in which after a reaction the reactant's property and the product's property are both similar and basically they are reversible. So didn't understand about it? So with an example, let's try to understand it. For example, I have a paper. So what I am doing with the paper, that I am taking the paper and I am in paper. So this paper is in reactant. Okay. So what I am doing, so I am tearing the paper. So in the product what will I get is two pieces of paper. So in my reactant paper is there, in reaction I am tearing the paper, and in product I have two pieces of paper. So I can see in my reactants that the paper is smooth in nature, paper may be white in color, paper have strips or line and other properties of paper. So after the reaction or tearing of the paper, we got the two pieces of paper. So we are now seeing the two pieces of paper that they are also smooth. They also have lines and they are also white color in nature. So we can see that the properties are matching from reactants to the product. So if a property matches in reactant and product after some reaction, this process is known as physical changes. Physical changes are mostly reversible. Mostly, not every physical change is reversible. For example, if I took the paper and attached the sellotape, what I am going to get is my new paper, is my paper that is similar to my reactant. So by this we can say that physical changes are mostly reversible. So I think you have already understood what is physical changes. Let's move up to chemical changes. Now what are chemical changes? Chemical changes is a phenomenon in which the properties of the reactant and properties of the products are different. So in this reaction, the property of the reactants and product will be different, and one more thing, they are mostly irreversible. So let's understand with an example. So what we have a paper here. So what I am doing this paper, I am heating the paper. So there is a fire and I am holding the paper above it. So what I will get as my product, that I would be getting an ash, I would be getting smoke. So I am seeing the properties of reactants now. So the properties of reactants of a simple paper is smooth in nature, paper is white in color, paper may be having some lines or some other properties of the paper. So but when I am heating it, this is my reaction. So when I'm heating it, this is my reaction. So the product we get after the reaction is I get smoke and I get smoke and I get ash. So if I see the ash is black in color, and I can see that ash is rough in nature, and I can see that smoke is there. So I am seeing here that the properties of my product and properties of my reactant both are completely different. And my smoke is in gaseous state and my paper is in solid state. So both are different and we cannot convert the smoke and ash into paper again. So by this we are able to understand that in the chemical changes the properties are different and they cannot be converted again to the product again. So I think chemical changes you would be very, you would now in any reaction you can tell that what are physical changes and what are chemical changes. So to make it more clear, we will identify that how to identify it is the chemical changes. So we can identify that what reactions are chemical changes by telling that if first states changes, not that Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat, Maharashtra, not that states. We are going to learn that solid, liquid and gaseous state. For example, here only the paper was in solid state and the product we get after the reaction was smoke, which is gaseous state. So both states were also different. Change in color, we saw that the paper was white in color and here the ash we got or the smoke we got was black in color. They are completely different color. Or some gases has been evolved. Here the carbon gas has evolved when the smoke was evolving. So the gas was evolved. Or we can tell that some object, some substance would be precipitate or precipitate, which we tell PPT in the short form, not the PowerPoint PPT. We are telling the PPT, that means precipitate in the water. So what is now PPT or precipitate? So for this we will take 3 beakers, A beaker, B beaker and C beaker. So in this 3 beaker we have water inside them. So the 3 substances that I am going to add inside these 3 beakers are, first is oil, second is salt or sugar, or the third object that we are taking is my ash, or we can take mud inside them. So in the first beaker I am adding oil in the beaker. So what I am seeing that oil is floating above the water. So I can tell that this is not an PPT, because PPT is when it precipitate or it settles down inside the water. So it is floating above the water. We can tell that it is a non-soluble liquid. And what I'm doing in the second beaker is I'm adding salt and sugar inside there. So it is getting mixed inside the beaker. So we can tell that salt or sugar is soluble inside the water. In the third beaker, when we are adding mud or we are adding mud or we are adding some sand inside there, so what will happen? They will settle down after some time. So we can tell that they are precipitating inside the beaker. So by this you have known that what is chemical changes, what are physical changes, and how we can differentiate both of them, and how we can identify some chemical changes, and we also knew about what is precipitate. So for this video, this much only. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.